Okay, you have a piece of paper that looks like this. My document camera can't fit everything on the screen. My desk is kind of small, all those things. So just bear with me. I'll kind of mess around. We had the great debate the other day, last period, and that great debate was, is this hot dog or hamburger? If you're holding it like this, vertically. Everybody says hot dog. I don't know. I disagree, because if I fold it this way, it looks like a hamburger, right? That is hamburger. So maybe we're talking the same thing, but differently. All right, we're going to hold it vertically, like this. Now, there's a couple things that you're going to have in front of you. Please understand, I took time to organize this stuff. Do not put random junk into the bin that's at your table. There should be plenty of stuff for people. I have here pieces of wood that I'm going to cut for you guys. If you so choose to use wood like this, there should be 3 in there. I also have pieces of wood that are thin, like this, in there. I also have what's called luan. Luan is it's like compressed cardboard almost, but it's rigid. It looks like this. I'll get you one in a second. All right. I have here rulers for everybody at your table. I have in here wheels. We got big wheels and we got little baby wheels. Okay. I have in here pulleys. I have in here skizzers. And then the other type of wood I have is like this kind of thin type of wood. Now, when I put this stuff in here, I assume about 90% of that supplies that I put in there is going to be the stuff that you use. Now, remember, you're welcome to bring things from home. You're welcome to ask me about stuff. I'll be happy to provide you anything that I have in rooms or whatnot. But in either case, that's the stuff I'm providing you to kind of do some brainstorming. All right, your piece of paper is vertically, like a tower, not sideways. Still see sideways, people. Go vertically. And what we're going to do is at the bottom, you're going to use a pencil, and you are going to count up, let's see if I can get there, 2 full blocks. So this is like a little bitty, not really a box. I'm going to go up 1, 2, and I'm going to make sure I come over 2 blocks. Now, it's not all that important, but if we want to stay consistent with each other, let's do that. So again, I'm going to come up here 2 blocks, and over 2 blocks, and put a little doody-dotty-dotty-doot. Sure. Kind of like that. So 2 blocks, just 2 blocks, 2 blocks. It doesn't have to be perfect, but follow exactly what I'm doing. That's what you're going to do. You're going to take a ruler that everybody should have, or a straight edge, and you're going to draw a nice, beautiful straight line going from one dot to the other dot, just like that. I'm going to go up 2 blocks, and then I'm going to come over, and I'm making just a very large rectangle. Anybody want to take a guess of what's going in there? Name, date, title, period. Yep, you got it. When we write our name, date, and all that other jazz, can somebody tell me how we're supposed to write it? All caps. Very good. Does anybody remember why all caps? What's that? I can't hear you. I'm sorry. Yeah, so there's no confusion. So I'm going to write my name in here in all caps. You're going to write your first and last name. If people call you Bubba and your name's Bob, write down Bob. I'm going to make this very official. Once I'm done that, I'm going to go to my first straight line and draw a line down like so. What do you want to put after your name? All right, we'll put the date. After we put the date, what do you want to put down? You guys are funny. Middle school kids. Periods, right? I do the same thing. So our date is 02/04/2022. Do you guys know that we are like the only country that does month, day, year? Most countries do day, month, year. Pretty crazy, right? It was very interesting. My father used to work for a company that was owned in Saudi Arabia, and of course they use a different calendar completely. So that was really interesting. Okay, what's that? New paper? What happened? Did you use pen? What's that? I'll be right there. All right, I'm gonna put the period. Give me 1 second. Can you just flip it over? Or is it that bad? B3, draw my name. I'm going to put a title in, beach vehicle. You need another piece of paper? You good? All right, cool. And then we're going to put a scale. I think this is the last time I do this with you guys, a 1-to-1 drawing, meaning whatever we draw is going to be like that in real life. We're going to start doing ratios a little bit more like a 1-to-2 drawing or a 1-to-4 drawing. Okay, these squares are quarters of an inch. So just keep that in mind. 1 full inch is 4 squares. Okay, so 4 inches gives you or 4 squares gives you a full inch. All right, I'm going to go right above it. I'm going to skip a line. And in fact, let me do this so that way it makes things a little bit better. I'll take this off my pad. All right. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this paper and I am going to fold it in half like this. Like a hot dog, right? Yeah, look at that. I guess so the folding deals with, the name deals with the fold, not the way the paper is. Is that correct? Maybe that's what I'm getting mixed up on. All right. I'm going to come up 1 block here. And right in the middle, I'm going to put down here, side, in all caps, view. So our side view is going to be there. So if you can imagine something like that. Okay, the next thing I'm going to do is after I folded it this way and I wrote down side view, I am going to fold it like a hamburger. So I'm going to go like this. So now I have 4 quadrants. Okay? Where I folded it right here, I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to draw a line going straight across. So our top view is going to be on the top and our side view is going to be on the bottom. Normally on an orthographic drawing, you do 3 views. But we're only going to do 2. We're going to do a side view and a top view. And once I've done that, I'm just going to go up 1 block and just label this top view. Looking good. Sweetness, on it. Awesome. Neat. And this thing should be so neat. I'm a sloppy writer. Look at my paper. Neat. Yes. All right. Looks like we're good to go now. All right. If this is our center, what I want to do is kind of give us some kind of bumpers, meaning like this is how far you can go. Does anybody remember how long our car can be? Our beach vehicle, I'm sorry. 10 inches, awesome. I'm going to take my ruler and I'm going to put 5 inches on the closest box to where I folded it. So let me zoom in here. If you take a look here, I'm going to shade it so you can see it. Right there is my halfway mark. I'm going to put the 5 inches on the one line there. And what I'm going to do is draw little bumpers. What do I mean by that? I put like little bumpers here saying that I can't go past there. Does that make sense? So let me repeat myself again. I put my ruler, I put the 5 on the center line, the closest center line, and then I drew little bumpers here on the outside to say, hey, that's my 10 inches. That means when I build my car, I can't go past those things there. Sure. There you go. What do you want me to zoom into? You took your ruler and you measured 5 inches this way, and took your ruler and measured 5 inches that way. I'm not going to count the blocks for you, kiddo. You don't count. Use this thing called a ruler. And life will be so much better. Okay, how tall can our vehicle be? Doesn't matter. Be as tall as you want, okay? So let's go over to our top view. So I'm going to slide over to our top view. Okay. And what I want to do is I want to put those bumpers on our top view. Actually, we're not going to put the bumpers on our top view because if we draw it correctly on a side view, it'll transfer to our top view. But what I want to do is give us our bumpers wide, or width of our vehicle. So what I'm going to do is take this paper and I'm going to fold it down. So I'm folding my top view in half, just like that. So that gives me 4 quadrants here. That gives me dead center there. that make sense? All right, does anybody remember how wide our vehicle can be? Yep. So I said 4 inches, and I looked at some models of another teacher did, and they were wider. So what I'm going to say is I'm going to change it a little bit. I'm going to give you an option to go up to 6 inches. Now I'll tell you this much. The wider you go, you have a testing area, right? The wider you go and your car moves off the track a little bit, it's going to hit the wall. So the wider the vehicle, the less room you have on the side to test. Does that make sense? It's kind of like your parents pulling into the garage, right? The wider the car, the less room they have on each side. Yeah, Amen? It can be up to 10 inches. I'll take a look in 1 second. Can you hold on? Thank you. All right, so I'm going to go to my center of this box here. And what I'm going to do is put my 3-inch here. And then I'm going to do little bumpers. So I got one there, which is at 1 inch, and then 6 inch. So here's my dead center. I went up 3 inches, and then I went down 3 inches. That gives me my bumpers for my vehicle. Okay, I'm going to help the med out here. Yes. All right, I'm coming. All right. I had a couple questions, and they seem to be on the same topic. So maybe I went a little fast, or maybe I wasn't very clear. So let's take a look. Our top view here, I'm going to take it, and I'm going to fold it in half, and I'm going to find the dead center of my top view. Okay, so there's my dead center. I then took my ruler, and I measured 3 inches this way, 3 inches this way, and that gives me my 6 inches in width. That makes sense now? I just put a little line there so I know that I can't go past this and I can't go past this. Okay, I'll give you about another 48 seconds to work on that. Okay, another about 30 seconds. Another about 20 seconds. All right, we good? Okay. So we're ready to now take care of business. Here's the deal, folks. You ready? The first thing you're going to do to get things squared away is to cut out your top and your side view of your gears. Okay? Now, I know it's been a couple weeks since we used it, and I know some people have been hit by buses, and there's been fires at your house, and aliens have come down and abducted you, and you may be missing it. I can give you mine if that's the case. but it should be in your journal like we always keep things. But ultimately what I want you to do is I want you to cut out your side view and your top gear view with the gears in it. I have scissors in the bin for everybody at your table. You should be good to go with that. All right? If you need a new piece of paper, come see me. I get to yell at you. You can imagine that this represents this guy here, right? Okay? So in your brainstorming and your sketches that you came up with, you put this motor somewhere on your car. Now we have these bumpers here, so we can put it all the way to the back. Maybe you put yours all the way to the back. Maybe you put yours all the way to the front. Maybe you put yours this way. Maybe you put yours this way. Maybe you turn yours upside down. I have no clue what you designed because there are so many different designs. What I'm going to do is I'm going to place it in the middle. And the reason why I'm placing it in the middle is because majority of you have it in the middle, and that would just make sense to help you out. So if I put this down here, what would be my problem? There's no space for my wheels, right? And again, I don't want to put it all the way up here because maybe I have my little driver, Bob, sitting up here, and he's not going to have any room, okay? So for me, I am going to place it in the middle. Now, I know that some people last class, somebody made like a four-wheeler or a monster truck, put wheels down here and wanted the motor up really high, okay? So you got to kind of think about that, giving yourself room, working within your parameters. So I'm going to put mine right in the middle. In your bin, you have, of course, glue. Please put a healthy amount of glue on so it doesn't fall off, but don't sit there and push it so hard that the glue just goes all over the place. Yes, it will make that noise. I'm going to take this guy here, and I'm going to take the crosshairs, and I'm going to place it on where I folded it in half, and I'm going to place it close to the middle somewhere. So maybe you want your motor to the back, more support or more weight in the back. Jacob, put the phone away. Okay. But just find a good spot for it and glue that guy down. All right, you guys ready? All right, here's the deal. Please do not be like me. Okay, what do you mean, Mr. Tedeschi? I'm gonna glue this later, so I'm gonna just set that aside for the time being. Don't be like me. My last class, I did an example of how I lay out the car, and I swear on my grandmother's grave, there's probably about 15 people that did the same exact thing as me. And that's my frustration when I try to demo things because I get what I give. And you guys, remember, came up with 3 to 4 sketches, so you should have an idea of what you want to do. So do not do what I'm going to do, right? You can manipulate and be like, oh, that kind of works for mine. Let me just tweak it here. Yeah, but don't do the same thing. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to think about how my motor is going to go. So this is my motor here. I need to support it with something, right? It's got to sit on something, and then I got to put wheels on there. So maybe my wheels are going to come down here. Maybe I'm going to put them in here. Maybe I'm going to put them down here. I'm not sure yet. On a top view wise, I might go like this. So I'm just kind of messing with some of the components and put it like something like this. I don't know. Okay? So I'm going to take this big hunk of wood, and I'm going to say that this is going to be the frame that it sits on. Now, I'm not going to make it as long as this. I believe I cut these to 10 inches, which is the total length you could possibly get. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this as the thickness. I'm going to set this thing on here like this, and then this is going to rest on that. Okay, and that's totally cool, makes sense. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw the piece of Luan here that it's going to sit on. So maybe my piece of Luan that I'm going to cut with bandsaw and all that stuff is going to be this long. So I'm going to the squares here. Because in my sketches, I realized I have to have my guy sitting somewhere, and I have to have the hook and everything. I'm then going to take, and I'm going to draw the thickness of this luan. And I shouldn't see any funky lines like this. It's got to look crystal clear, folks. Here it looks really bad. I would really spend some time, and I would clean that up. I'm going to set the luan then on top of this piece of wood. And I'm going to say maybe my piece of wood is going to go to about here. I can always use this thing called a ruler and measure, right? So I'm going to come out to here. Here's my thickness. Maybe I'm going to come out to here. I got to erase all my straight lines. I hear people working because they're really bored of me talking and they want to just get to it, but bear with me a second. All right, so if you can imagine now, I have this piece of wood on here. Now, this doesn't have to be this way, right? I can use a really thin piece of wood, like this. It's about the same thickness. I can set the wood this way. Okay, we could do the straw thing, put the straws underneath, put the axles through straw. So maybe I'm going to drill through here, but I decided that if I had this here and I drilled into here, the wheels, right, put a hole under that, that doesn't give me much clearance, does it, for the beach? It'll probably bottom out. So I'm going to decide to take this thin piece here, and maybe I'm going to do this. On the outside, I'm going to come down like this. I'll show you one sec. And maybe I'll do the same thing. Maybe I'll make it come out a little bit longer. I mean, I want to make it aesthetically pleasing. I don't want to just randomly throw stuff. Okay, so looking here, I'm a little bit off. And the reason why I'm saying it's a little bit off is I want the height of these things to be the same. And Kirsten's still saying, I don't get it. What are you doing? So now I have a piece of wood like this. I have a little piece of wood. If you can imagine, I'm going to cut this off like this. And then I'm going to drill a hole through that piece of wood and hold it. Does that make sense? So now my wheel's down a little bit more. Cool? Make sense? All right. Then I'm going to take my wheel that you have there. I also have things to draw, like this, like these different things. There are a whole bunch of different styles that you're welcome to. But I'm going to put the center of the wheel right here. I'm going to trace my wheel. And then I'm going to come over here and trace my wheel. The bottom of my wheels are lined up, so they're sitting the same level. Now, when I do that, I have a problem. Remember my orthographic drawings? If they're hidden, I have to make them dash lines, right? So these guys got to turn into dash lines, so I can literally just kind of erase them a little bit and come back. Man, Mr. Tedeschi, this is like really getting meticulous and boring. Yes, it is. Remember, we want to make this so easy that a monkey can build this thing. Okay, so I'll go through and I would do that one there. Okay, so this is what I want you to do. And remember, again, guys, I have other stuff you can use. So when you're brainstorming, if you came up with something else, please pick my brain a little bit. Okay? And what I want you to do is I want you to figure out how you are going to mount this motor and how are the wheels going to be. Okay? Motor mount, wheels. I don't want you to do anything else. So I want to make sure that this is right before we move on. Any questions, concerns, and/or thoughts? Just one? Okay, I'll talk to you directly. All right, you guys may get to work. Okay, I've got a couple questions about our car. So let me show you here what's going on. So in here, I remember I have those little pieces of wood coming through, and my wheels are going through the wood. So if you can imagine, I have an axle like this going through the wood to the other side. That's what my thinking is here. So here's my piece of wood coming down. I drill a hole through it. My wheel will have an axle to it to the other side. Okay? If you take a look here, I know many of you decided to do something with your tires. And in this case here, I got those little pieces of wood and I decided to glue on for traction. Maybe I'm using like push pins. I don't know. I had someone say I had like 3 or 4 unbelievably good ideas that I haven't even heard of before that were really good between last class and this class. But remember, you try to, in your sketching, figure out how to get traction. So in either case, try to figure that out. Okay? Make sense? Clear as mud? Okay, folks, how are we feeling? All right. If I could have some eyes and ears up here, please. All right, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to start filling in my components to my my vehicle. So I've got my tires done. We still don't have the powertrain going to the wheels yet, but that's okay. I want to keep things simple. I'm going to now put in my seat for Bob, the driver. My seat for Bob has to be 2 squares tall by 2 squares long. So take a look here. So a nice seat for a Lego person is a 1/2 inch by 1/2 inch. So there we go. So that's where Bob's going to go. The second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to have design my hookup for my snack shack. So my snack shack hookup is going to look like this. And let's see if you guys know what it is. What do you think I'm drawed here? Drawn. So right here, and this, and then it would go something like this. Of course, I would use my ruler and make it a little bit cleaner. What do you think it is? Yeah, so I have a bolt going through this part here, and then I was going to take a paper clip that kind of goes up like this, and it would attach onto the snack shack right here, and it would drag it along. Okay, so that's what I came up with. You guys came up with your own ideas between rubber bands, paper clips, bungee cords, crazy stuff like that. So I want you to draw your seat, wherever your seat is going to be. My seat for Bob is going to be there. And then there is my mechanism to pull the sled. Okay? I want to go over, we got a couple more things to do on our side view, but we're only going to focus on one more thing on our side view. So we have our push and our pull. What we need to do is our cleaning. How are you going to clean it? So for instance, for me, I saw a lot of people do the rake thing. So if this is the front of my vehicle, maybe I'm going to put these kind of close like this and run it through the sand. And as it runs through the sand, it collects the larger particulates, for instance, like all the trash, right? So I know some of you have done them in the front and the back and so forth. Maybe what I'm going to do is in the inside of my vehicle. So if you can imagine, I'm going to have 2 pieces here, and then I have my motor sitting on the top, my wheels on the outside. Maybe I'm going to have a raking system that's inside. So maybe my raking system kind of goes like this on a 45-degree angle. in my 45-degree angle, I can tell by going corner to corner to corner. And it's going to be pieces of wood like this going into the sand. Oh, I definitely need to draw a line. That looks ugly. With a ruler, there we are. And if you can imagine, the dotted line means it's hidden, so it's behind this piece of wood, so it's going to sit like this. It's going to sit on an angle. You'll notice that it's right where the wheels are touching the sand. And then if I was, again, looking at my front view, it would be a whole bunch of these, but I want to see a whole bunch of them here, okay? They're kind of going to be like this, so I'm just showing it like that. Some of you drug things, some of you use plows on the front. Whatever you need to do, what I want you to do is draw in how you plan on cleaning the beach. Okay, so what we're going to do right now is we're going to start transposing. So remember we said that our orthographic drawings, they always talk to one another. So whatever we're doing down here, this is the top view, it's going to line up. So watch what I'm going to do. I am going to take my motor, my powertrain, I'm going to bring it all the way up here. I'm going to line it up and place it dead center in the middle. Okay? So if you can imagine, I've got this going on, and as I spin it, it's doing this like that. Okay? So one nice way to make sure that it is done properly. Interesting, you got a headache? You can be back here. Come on, man. Ooh. I'm going to bring this straight up like this. I'm going to use my ruler. I'm going to place it right in the middle. Now, if you want to have your motor offset, so for instance, like this, you see how this person did theirs a little bit off to the side. You could leave it there and then just draw your thing down a little bit, or you can push it over a little bit. Whatever, it doesn't matter as long as you have 6 inches. Okay, I'm sorry, less than 6 inches in width. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the guy here. Dooby-dooby-dooby-doo. I'm going to drag it straight up, and since that's my middle, I want it a little bit offset. Maybe I'm going to bring it over like that. So it's not exactly in the middle. You can leave yours in the middle. Just think about how you're going to be able to get your powertrain to your wheels. Okay? So if you could glue that on, that would be awesome sauce.